Welcome, everybody. Sorry about that. Oh, welcome, everybody. I've been cut. Happy Friday to all of you. And yes, this Friday, the Fragile Manifesto of this. We're going to see today, in the next about an hour together, what does that mean? But moreover, I would like today, and my mission of Awake and Agilize Everything with me, Alexandre Frédéric, AF. Yes, I am Alexandre Frédéric Joly, your coach, AF. And by the way, AF, it's my name. It could mean also Agile with fun, Agile with force, but force, positively force. So, and today, yes, I won't necessarily, you could see the Agile Wars logo, but I will propose something today. I will propose some solution, another way with another kind of VUCA and everything. But before we go, because I'm just like a little bit late, I'm not completely done. We're going to talk about this also, the down factor with the quality is key. So let's do a first musical break to put us into the ambience of fragility, shall we? With one of my favorite groups that just launched a new album. So let's do this first, and I'll get back with you with the proposition of do we have a fragile tension as Dave Gann's going to sing us right now. So stay there, and we'll start the show right after this musical break from Depeche Mode. Indeed, the beautiful and amazing people, welcome back to this Friday Live Agile that might become a special episode of the Agile Wars series on the Real Agile podcast. By the way, we have a couple of new smart, short podcasts available right now. All the links are in the description of this Rumble and YouTube video. And for the people on LinkedIn, I'm inviting you to go to my front page and go to my profile apropos, and you'll find the link on. Actually, you could also the best way, I think it is, the best way to reach out to me and also my team that I salute, Anna, Elizabeth, Sean, and more. You could actually, where it is, multitasking, Fredo. Here it is. So you go to agile-lounge.com and you get access to all my YouTube, Rumble, some Instagram if you'd like to have fun and some short thing. But this is the thing. And I think that today, not all of you will like and love what I have to share. However, and the spirit of true and real agility, uncovering new ways, wiser ways, I would like to suggest to you some kind of how we could go beyond with a VUCA Pro, with the 5 values of the Agile Lounge for business agility and wiser leadership. It's really a proposition to be anti-fragile, and also the 13 principle of agnostic agility remixed by yours truly, if we have time, sort of speak. But I was thinking of, because I know my colleague, they always do kind of an April Fool's Day. The very ever first podcast on Agile was probably the Agile uprising back in the day, just right after the manifesto. I think they launched it like 2002, 3. It's a big quality. It's like me, it's an amateur, but they have great content sometimes. Sometimes it's not. It's very diverse. But I think they were the first ever podcast on Agile and Scrum and all that stuff, mostly centered into the software development. So that's the problem. So this is why I did create their Real Agile to agilize everything. Not only the legacy of my mentor and friend Mike Beadle, but moving onward into how could we bring agile into leadership into every department that an enterprise could benefit from. Because otherwise, with all these left brainer, engineer, and so on, this is why it's making fragile. It's making fragile instead of agile. Instead of having an adjective that ends your powerful capability of being flexible, of being more open, engaged into conversation. So that's the thing. But anyway, I was talking about agile uprising because around April 1st, for a couple of years, I always do this Dowd method, DOWD, the Dowd method from Wellington Dowd. I don't even know if it exists because I did search for it. And his framework is it's a foundation, okay, utilizing core knowledge, no experience here, to actualize realistic delivery. Again, we are in the delivery mode of like shit. And it's a multi-level phases gated process to roll out the agile into your organization without actually changing any fucking thing. Yes, isn't it amazing? So the Dowd method always brought about this. And so this is the concept of, this is the core kind of open definition of what is the Fragile Manifesto. The Fragile Manifesto is the Dowd method of an April Fool's Days from the earliest podcaster. And continuing on, actually, it's a fictive foundation called the Wellington Dowd, unless you tell me in the comment below that you found something that I didn't find on DuckDuck, Pager, Lifestore, and Google. So if you find something, be my guest. So again and again, this is the part that most of you won't be happy with what I have to say because you're so stuck into your conventionality or to a bad pleasing of your customer. Because in my case, I want to please my client who are capable, who are open for not change, because change and transformation, it's not the point. The point is evolution according to what did you opt in for? What is your vision that you want to bring your product, your business, your team, and your people working with you, not for you, you know? So again and again, this soi-disant agile community, and especially here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Okay, but it's worldwide right now. The parasite, it's everywhere across the planet. So this pseudo-agile professional community, I insist, still don't want to pay attention on what's needed. What is needed to be anti-fragile and be real agile? One, leadership and business owner. We have to pay attention to educate the leadership and the business owner. If it's a business owner, sometimes it's startup, small company, medium, growing, and the leadership it's for larger scale organization and enterprise that now you have people working for shareholders or working for a business owner that finance this. So we don't pay attention enough for that. And this is not exclusive for executive coach, my ass. It should be for enterprise of any size. Like it should be the role of any type of coach, whether you adopt the Scrum, flat managed leadership way of doing things, that system, whether you have a more DevOps, materialistic, like development cycle, whether you really like to embrace the lean system thinking with some agility. So it doesn't matter the framework, okay? It doesn't matter. But what matter is Those who own the fucking business you are working on, they should be at least educated and aware, because maybe they're just responding to a buzzword. So that's part of the fragility. So that's why I said, like, number one, our leadership or the business owner in and ready to support and invite people to participate and engage. Okay. Number two, teams and all stakeholders experience. The true business agility and conscious leadership will taught you and help you. We are here to facilitate that your teams and every stakeholders experience will be something of fulfillment to bring some kind of happiness within your organization. So the true ways of agile is not just developing a great product, which could be a software, but it could be any kind of product, service, or solution that you're going to put out there to, yes, satisfy your customer satisfaction, which is number three of these elements that any consultant, business advisor with the qualificative of agile, especially if you have a qualificative of agile, if you want to create your own definition of that as an agile coach of enterprise, teams, whatever, I don't care. I think you should have in mind these three things. And so customer satisfaction and all stakeholders' experience should be a concern, a core process. This is what we call the people first movement. This is what Mike Beadle taught us in Enterprise Scrum about putting people first over anything else, because this is the people interaction, people engagement, people's skills, people's knowledge and experience that make it happen. It's not a fucking system. It's not a fucking framework. It's not what have you, because even the people who are making like Conartist type of bullshit, they cannot achieve without having a great conversation with a SME or with someone who could bring something for a better delivery. And a better delivery means also a better experience. More and more, the new generation that growing up in the workplace, they want an experience. And if they have a good experience, they will serve your client with a nicer experience. So it's all about the experience. Okay. So, and it's not in phase like the Dowd method of the Wellington Dowd Foundation with its framework of delivery, a multi-level phase gated process to roll out the agile transformation to your organization. That's bullshit. Okay. All of these agile transformation backlog, that's bullshit. All that you don't agile is not the end. It's not the mean. Okay, it's only a way, it's only a kind of a mindset that will unleash you to make decision and to make some things happen. So again, your fake low potential debate on all the social network and especially on LinkedIn interests no one but con artists and fake agile coach that like to shine a fading light. And you will say like, hey, hold on a minute, Coach F. What are you doing with this podcast? What are you doing with that? But what I'm doing with that is I try to spread this kind of divergent approach, where we could have a different perspective. I'm not saying I'm right. I don't want to be right or wrong here. I just want to engage into a conversation. I just want to have some other ideas spreading into this. I just want to analyze things as I see fit and propose something else, So it's simple as that. And so, of course, when I'm criticizing, I could understand that at some point we are not. How could I say that? Walking the talk and acting upon of what we teach and preach. It's. I think it's really important. Don't get me wrong. But when people wrote to me, but Coach F, you're just doing the same thing. I just called out like those fake debates of low potential people. But that's the thing. Pay attention. Like, I don't know if you really listen to the musical break with Depeche Mode. They've gone the lyric of that song, Fragile Tension. I think you could take it for any kind of context. But if we put it in our context of an agile community who is going down the drain, and all of these debate, Because yes, debates are important, but my problem is those who dominate in the cast that we are in, the adoption of Agile for the last 20 some years, it seems to be led by low potential individual and organization that are there for this agile industrial complex. So they put money first, they put profit first. And by the way, I'm a huge capitalist, I'm a Bitcoiner and everything. So I kind of agree with that. That's the paradox fun thing about it. But I I am not an extremist on any side of anything. I'd like to be in a continuous circle that will transform into a spiral. And from that spiral, we could evolve together. So here's the thing. For me, it's a question of bringing an experience of happiness, but for that we need fulfillment, and to make fulfillment we need a definition of done. What will be done, when it will be done. And some people nowadays they say like, well, it's always in movement, it's always evolving, so it will never be finished. So, and the Agile Manifesto for software development and the proposed definition of enterprise SCRUM for business agility, supported by great consultants such as Steve Denning for the new ways of management, and the Capitalist Center of Conscious Leadership Center with Richard Barrett. They telling us that yes, it's a constant evolution. It's a trans for action. I love it in English. Trans for action. No transformation. You want to create a trends to traverse together for an action of what you learn. Learning something is great. You could read a lot of books, but if you don't try to connect the dot between your two sides of your brain and your mind, and with your intuition and your heart, what good it is. Tell me what good it is, because I truly don't know if this. So, anyways, tell me in the comment, and if you're live this Friday, April 21st, you could also chat with me. I see about a dozen people listening live now, and so you're more than open to chat. It's kind of an open mic now. So just resume the three possible antidote to be anti-fragile and to stop this painful Fragile Manifesto to create often, especially in medium and large-scale organizations, the water SCRUM fall, where only the people who produce, especially in technology of information and software development, that will be the only one of your entire organization that will be either lean with Scrum or either agile with kind of anything else, if I could say that, but whatever. You know my point about this. So, so for me, it's really important to remember those three antidotes, which are, okay, we should pay attention more for the leadership of those larger scale organizations, making them working together. I just did this week a kind of a workshop of about 45 minutes to an hour with 5 VPs and their CEO to help them understand what their colleague asked for. The CTO asked it for more agility in the IT, which is under his responsibility, but he wanted me to explain all the connection and the importance for customer service VP, for marketing and sales VP, for everything, and then making sure that the CEO who's approving the budget of everyone for training or facilitation, that I hope Agile Lounge will do more than what I did this week. So leadership, business owner, it's really important, because at the end of the day, I'm sorry, guys, but I'm a capitalist. So if I create something, if I build and if I put my fund and my investment into it, I'm the one who made the decision, period. So decision rights with agility, with the lean thinking, it's no more delegation. It will be the invitation based. And I'll come back to it with my 5 values very soon. And the number 2 antidote, again, it's the stakeholders, every stakeholders of any level of management, of any, whatever you do in the company, you should have a great experience. Okay, you should be able to be invited to share your expertise and more to that company. So that's a great antidote. And you should participate in any kind of implementation and adoption of new ways to do and making it continuous. And number three, of course, is your customer satisfaction. I could have put customer satisfaction as first because that's what we do at Enterprise Scrum for Business Agility. It's people first, which is customer and employee experience first. But for the purpose of the Fragile Manifesto and to avoid the fake agility of the down method, I think like we should start by who owns the fucking business that you're going to do an action there. So that's yeah. So I won't go into the bunch of clowns that make comment and continue this fake debate just to show off that they get it, they get the Kaizen, they get the Kanban, they get the Scrum, but actually they just get what they read, and the 3 days they pass in the hotel to get their CSM. And by the way, done could mean a completion, a fulfillment of something, and something shippable that you could serve your customer, like anything. It could be also with food. But done also in English, I realized, because my English native people, they told me like, done, the expression, I'm done with you. So maybe, this side. Maybe I'm done with that. Since 2006, I used to be a proud member of Scrum Alliance, but not Scrum Alliance with this new CEO instead of CPO. CPO was standing with Bullet for Chief Product Owner. And now they making change. They push the work agenda, and I cannot associate myself with people who don't want to be objective, pragmatic, and open to any possibility, especially if you claim to be an agile organization, which is an oxymoron because we all know that Scrum, it's a lean system. That, of course, at LPED created the agile, what is this again? Yeah, the agile software development with Scrum. Because Scrum and XP, again, were the majority of the 17 core century that bring those upfront 4 values. And of course, the Fragile Manifesto, if you guys were expecting me to go through the values of a Fragile Manifesto with the principle of a Fragile Manifesto, of course not. It's more like an agility rant of your renegade coach that I just mentioned, okay? And to bring you back to the Real McCoy of this great work of 2001, that it's not static. So if we would like to talk about value system here, it's the 3 things that I name you, and you could add probably also, don't be static, but be still open, okay? Go back to the first statement of this manifesto for agile software development that says like, together, all of us, let's uncover new and better way, and we add wiser with Enterprise Scrum, of delivering and producing stuff. Or I should say producing and delivering stuff, and then go out and teach others. So that's probably the part that make this agile on the precipice, that I probably collaborate to create this agile industrial complex. Because by teaching, instead of teaching what we know, like Alistair Cockburn at The Art of Agile is really brilliant. I love it. Thank you, sir. The Shuari system, making more sports into the business consulting, that may be a better way of teaching than getting certification of what if you're not diligent enough to really learn from the field. And don't tell me I was lucky back then to have an engineer asking me to be their Scrum Master and doing from scratch with them. That's a lot of people could do that. And when I coach my newbie Scrum Master, we try hard to put them in a situation that they could actually practice or transfer their practical experience into the lean mindset and the agile mindset. So that's maybe a story for another capsule, another podcast. So now, without further ado, my solution to go beyond this fragile manifesto, to go beyond this method of um, having a multi-level phase gated process for the agile implementation into your organization without actually changing anything, which is the fragile. And people sometimes they call it wagile, but the problem I have with most of the people who use the term wagile is they really believe, like those who believe in Scrum Band, that's nonsense. Okay, these are false assumption adaptation. It's not a real tailoring of the thing, because if you look closely to the Scrum system, I insist, Scrum system, you could um, literally configure it. Not even it's by configuring it, you're gonna have a working agreement, and you could create a framework and even a new methodology at some point. I kid you not. I kid you not. Okay. So what I want to do now is to bring you back to some objective basic. Um, you know, instead of 4 values and 12 principles, we are going to see the 5 values of the Agile Lounge for business agility. And we're going to take time also to go through the now 13 principle of agnostic agility. And once again, agile agnostic, you have a SCM problem. You really seems to have what we call a huge problem. So if you are also techie guy, Mr. Vervige, that posts something on LinkedIn about it, your agnosticagile.org never showed up in any search engine. And I think this is because you use a multi-language WPML. So I'm just giving you a feedback as a user now, because it's very annoying to not being able to find you and to click right away to your so it's you user experience live. So let me propose you three kind of legs about pushing upward with practical thing, this antidote through the Fragile Manifesto of Agile. That start with this conception of, oh, let's please the customer. So he asked us to have an agile transformation. Let's do this. But you will have a lot of impediment. You will have a lot of no. You'll have a lot of no culture change. So how could you adapt the agile mindset and embrace those values that you'll be able to adapt? The values are really simple. And it's not a verse of a Bible. But I mean, when you look at it, we talk about customer collaboration over contract negotiation, which means that contracts are important. Contracts are necessary in our legal system, in our capitalist systems, in our financial systems, and what have you. That's okay. You could have this kind of, and by the way, as they say, what you have on the right is not that it's not important, but we value more what it's on the left. So we think that customer collaboration, which is implied interaction, which is implied people having over negotiation at some point, making it possible to have a great discussion, a great discovery. So if you do a great pre-sales process with discovery, paid or not paid, so that's depend of your business model, you don't need a 3 weeks assessment at $90,000 US, because you already know what they want, what is their vision. If you analyze in the discovery process that they don't know, so I think this value of customer collaboration, it's exactly it. It's having conversation and making a list of things to happen. Now the backlog transformation list that I used to do myself when I was a rookie, I admit it. I admit it. It was a great idea at that moment because I didn't know better. But at the end of the day, and of course, you need to keep a list of your mandate, especially as a consultant. So that's no problem with that. And I love to do this with my client. Always like we apply the Scrum system together with a planning, with a refinement of the things to do within their teams and organization. Because there's so many things. And this is why, like in the back end, like without saying it, like I would have this Shuari systems according to where they are and how much mature they are. And a second value that arise is the so we talk about customer collaboration, but then after it's the individual interaction over the process and tools. Once again, even when Mike Beadle touches on it's people first over anything else. The anything else, it's important. Technology, it's important. The tool are important. Everything is important. But when we talk about a system of value, we value more what we say first. It's like in a sentence. When you say something for about 1 hour and you complete the sentence with but, and you say something else, where the but just destroy everything up front. Here, what we say is people interaction or people in individual interaction over, not but, over processes and tools. Because the process and tools is what are the tools and what type of process or method that you will need. Because tool is not just hardware, it could be also a methodology or something. So what will you need in your exact business context and your exact market to have as process and tools? And this will be decided, surprise, by the interaction between people, between decision making, if they have decision rights or not, and etc. Okay, and the third value of the Agile Manifesto is originally it was working software, but we all know now we could say the working product or the shippable delivery of what is your goal, what are you doing as an enterprise? Because again, it's business. Okay, it's about business. It's about making money. Oh, surprise again. So is it working what you sell out there? Is your experience, if you're a movie theater business owner, you're not, it's not a working software. It could be part of your definition of that you have software for the cashier, for the ticket reservation, what have you. But I mean, is it working? What do you provide as an enterprise? Is it working? Okay, so you need to have a shippable good, a shippable services, something that works, something that provides a nice experience. Okay, period. And this is over what? This is over working software over comprehensive documentation, especially the large scale organization. They want reports. They want a lot of metrics that serve no ones and that waste time of people gathering it. No. Make all your effort and time and delivering something that will provide value and a return on your investment. And once again, we don't say that a release note is not important, but spend more time and put more value into making sure it's working. And then after, take the time when you celebrate to start working into an instruction manual, if you like, or to report the things. And most importantly, when you release something, what you should have and written as documentation will be your customer and or user feedback. That should be there to refine your log of things to do. So that's the documentation. Anyways, it seems simple, but I did experience it for years, and it's working, and people are happy, the customer are happy. And then after, it's only, again, the process and tools of a larger organization with compliance. So I could understand at some point I did help making sure that there's a, but again, we're not saying that documentation is not important, but we should not prioritize it as the mean. We should prioritize it as the deliverable. And of course, the fourth one is the extreme programming guide that came with that. It's uh, it's about the planning. I don't remember I always like forget this one the way they phrase it, but it's I say embracing change, but it's being open to change over following a plan. I think. Correct me in the comment if I'm wrong. The last one I always like. I know it's about planning and being open to change. So it's about like plan is nothing and planning is everything. So these guys are right because like in classical project management, you have all of your phase gate process and stuff. No, and with a real lean thinking system, embracing the agile values, you should definitely go into not procurement because actually this one will tell you how good your customer collaboration with customer feedback is to change the plan, how good the interaction between people are good to make sure that you will have the proper tools and process and methodology to deliver the things, and how good is your product with the product review or the whatever solution that you do. So that's why like this fourth one, embracing change over following a plan, I think is it's coming to confirm and checklist the other two. So and all of this happened in 2001, full software development. It had evolved to business agility because now we could agilize everything from any department of the entire enterprise. And this is what we call agilize everything. And you could do it with me if you'd like. And I will really invite you. What we just did right now could be some kind of basic fundamental for a free discovery session to walk the talk with you. And again, YouTube and Rumble have the link, and you go to my website once again, and you could actually have it. And speaking of going to my website, let's go to my website. And before, yeah, all this exists. Why we are here with the lean thinking system from manufacturing Toyota to software development and now to embracing business, R&D, innovation, and so on, and with the agile and stuff. It's because, especially in the last 33 years, we had the VUCA. And for those who don't know, maybe, but I'm sure my audience is smart and know. And by the way, welcome to 16 new subscribers on YouTube this week. Amazing. Thank you so much for being there. And now it's time for you to smash the like button to support the channel and to also share this video to spread the word of another perspective of a divergent renegade approach with Coach F. It's yours truly. So the VUCA, for those who might not know and you just passed by and you would like to subscribe and hit the notification of my channel, well, VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. That was a term coined by the CIA in the last age of the Cold War between the USSR, the Soviet Union, and the United States, and so the West or the East. And when Gorbachev, on December 26, 1991, signed the end of the USSR, the creation of independent country, or mostly some republic, this is when actually Ukraine became the first republic to be independent with the Lithuania, Estonia, so whatever. Short story long. So now that term became used to describe this now unipolar world, sort of speak, could create a lot of that VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, because the CIA, which is the intelligence agency of the US government, probably working with the intelligence of the military, but now they were like in this VUCA type of space because they didn't have any more like strong core enemy to the USSR. They were questioning the fact that will it be now 16 republic plus the East Europe and China. So they didn't know. They didn't know fuck all. They were in this VUCA. So of course, probably in the 90s that follows, businesses on Wall Street and Silicon Valley start catching up on this because they were facing to how do we market our product? How do we produce good, what type, and then they had like this migration of people who were free to move, and so they say like, hey, I think this term VUCA could be really adaptable to our business, and we discover that our business are part of this ecosystem. So if something happened geopolitically, financially, environmentally, because the VUCA, it's everything like could create uncertainty for you to make a return on your investment. Okay, and the volatility of the market, crisis after crisis. And I think like we always said, it always been there, but they count the term after that kind of collapse of our apparently common enemy, and so on. And here at the Agile Lounge, 3-4 years ago, we're discussing about it, and I came in like, okay, let's keep the VOCA, but let's put a pro next to it, because I'm an Apple fashionista. And so you have Fredo and Fredo Pro, you have Agile and Agile Pro, and based on the iPhone and iPhone Pro, what have you. And I said, like, if we provide professional services here at the Agile Lounge for business agility, instead of doing like my mentor and others in the field, of course, we could in certain workshop explain what I just did about the VUCA, but I said, like, I always like to propose something else. This is the divergent approach, okay? Showing you something more positive, more enlightening. So I said, let's go with the VUCA Pro. And the VUCA Pro, it's very simple. We talked like we replace volatility with a vision. Do you have a clear vision, okay? To avoid being capped into this volatility of financing. Because if your vision is clear, we're gonna have what we call this. Now I'm really annoyed by the experience of what have you. Anyways, we'll come back later. Probably I'm gonna do a UX show about everything that's falling in the West. So let's go back to the VUCA Pro. So anyways, volatility should be replaced with a vision, because if you have a clear vision and you share it with your team, and we'll come back about this with the 5 values of the Agile Lounge, then you'll be able to have the proper way of delivering your product, okay? And you will be able to probably get the most of your return on investment and so on. And then the uncertainty. So if everything is uncertain, and by the way, all of these concepts, whether it's from the VUCA, the bad VUCA, to the VUCA Pro, could be actually scaled at any given space or time or context or team level, management level, and so on. Because uncertainty, maybe for a CEO, it's not the same kind of impediment that it could be for a software developer or an enterprise architect that is doing something. Okay, we're good on this. So have it in mind that when I describe it, you should bring it to your level of expertise or your level of influence, or how could you use this to make it happen. So uncertainty, often what we see is, especially between teams, the interaction between people, and what someone asks about who someone understands. So it's always like creating this uncertainty on top of what I call the geopolitical, health care issue, environmental issue, whatever is outside of us that create that uncertainty. It's also the people interaction, or the understanding or the misunderstanding of do we have a clear vision or not, and how do we understand the vision, and so on. So for me, that's why that after having a great vision and share it, make sure that you replace all of this uncertainty to understanding each other. So the U in the VUCA Pro stands for understand. And then the complexity. So the complexity could be again about anything. Could be again about your market, because there's a market like in Canada and Belgium with multiple language in the country, or Switzerland. It could be, so it's mean like if you build a website, you need 3 language and so on. Complexity could be about as I said, the market. It could be about the people mindset, or the people demanding. It could be about the customer expectation. It could be about the technology that's going too fast and you have to learn new codes and so on. So complexity, it's a lot of things. And also, again, with the interaction between the people, you have a lot of people that bring complexity for nothing. And sometimes with the agile industrial complex, the fragile, we're back to the fragile and the fake agile manifesto. What do you have? And how can you expect to be taken seriously as a consultant if you make things complex, as you should actually be there to facilitate, keep things simple, as Jim I. Smith reminded us. If you want to be agile and do agile stuff, keep it simple, clear, and understand each other and make it happen. So that complexity, I transform it. For me, it's always like, when we were brainstorming about it, the complexity at first should be transformed in our VUCA Pro by creativity. You have space to make creative stuff, to create new ideas, to uncover all those. And then after, the C could stand also for a better communication to avoid that complexity, especially in professional services. And finally, the A that stands for ambiguity, but we use it for agility, be more agile. Use the real core agility to use the guiding principle and to create those patterns that you'll need to achieve this vision, understanding, creativity, communication, and yes, of course, collaboration. So that's the VUCA Pro. Now, for my podcaster, I'm sorry about it, but for those who are watching on Rumble and YouTube and maybe LinkedIn, I'm going to now share with you the 5 values of the Agile Lounge for Business Agility. And I think it's a good segue from last week. What is Agile Lounge? Again, you will have the link in the pinned comment to go see by yourself. But I think that it is important that for part of my listener, you could actually see it here. Should I? All right. So it's about our agile professional services to you. Okay, this is for you as a customer relation. It's for you. But when you work with your employee, you actually want to work with them. Okay. Me as a consultant, I will work for you, but I would love to. We did apply this guiding principle of customer collaboration over contract negotiation, and that the for you will become with you. But my services is to you, and then after we'll work for you. So I won't go through the explanation here of the Agile Lounge ways and values, but the basic point is we are always in a new economy, in a new world of business, ever changing. So it's really important to delight your customer if you want to keep it up. And to do the delight of your customer, I think you should also elevate your employees with new ways of working. And so this is exactly the real anti-fragile, the real proposition. So the 5 values here that you could see of the Agile Lounge, that we are basing our fundamental on how we're going to propose you our professional services, and now we're going to tailor this with your context and your needs and the desired state you want to bring your enterprise, your product development, or your team. And it's also based it's inspired by the sooner, safer, happier, especially for those 4 main things of you want your organization and your leadership, actually the people, the stakeholders, you want them to be smarter with the quality and experience of people first. You want them to help you deliver to your customers sooner with new ways of working, a flow of work with a continuous planning, and frequent feedback from your customer and so on. And then, of course, you have a safer. People talked about psychological safety, and as I mentioned into my Renegade Agilist podcast 2-3 weeks ago, it's bullshit if your DIE of people care just talked about it. You have to make it happen, and we are here at the Agile Lounge for Business Agility to actually help you make it happen. A real open space and a safe space for people, okay, to certainty over ambiguity. It goes with our VUCA Pro definition. Agile, not fragile, exactly this Fragile Manifesto today. And the inclusion and openness, the real inclusion with openness, not inclusion by excluding some other people who are apparently part of a majority. So that's bullshit. So the real safer, that should be a replacement of your DIE mindset, because we have it all into your agility, your business agility, and conscious leadership adoption that we could help you with here at the Agile Lounge for business agility once again. And the other value experience for client and workers of an objective key result is happier. Are your client happier? Are your colleagues happier? Even the citizen, because as a moral person in the United States and Canada, your organization should also have a role into the citizenship of where you are located and so on. Is it more interactive, transparent, and engaged? Okay. And happier, we use that term because people love to be happy. But remember that happier and happy is an outcome of fulfilling all of the above. And the 5 values that I worked like for years to refine, and then when I launched my new website for my 7 years of operation within the Agile Lounge brand, I created it. So the first value, it's about people and interaction over structure and process. The second value, it's evolution over transformation. And here, so people and interaction over structure and process, I think I just bring back the people's first movement of enterprise SCRUM for business agility, and also the Agile Manifesto for software development. So I don't need to go further to explain. I did it already. So just if you just catch this video, watch the replay on Rumble and YouTube especially, and go back to maybe 22 minutes where I explain it better with the original manifesto. And then the second value that is really dear to my heart, and it's been refined in the last 2 years, it's when I realized I was awakening myself to there is no transformation. There might be a digital transformation. We've seen it with the VUCA that we experienced in 2020. There may be a business transformation. There's maybe a team transformation. There's maybe a transformation. It's transformation of something. Huh? It's even better than change for change. I could believe it. And once again, like the original manifesto, I'm not saying that the thing to your right are not important, but we value the thing on the left more. So, but I realized that it's an evolution. Working for startups and enterprise of any size, I did realize quickly that a transformation will bring that fragility of a gating process, of phases, and they will treat it, especially an agile transformation or a lean implementation transformation. People were like managing it in a Gantt chart almost. And I kid you not. And I said to myself, like, no way. Agile, especially with business agility, that agilize everything into your enterprise, not just software development, should be based on, okay, did you get the value and the guiding principle? And now from them, could you make decision to unleash the full open pattern potential from them? And I realized that will be an evolution. So that's why this second value of the Agile Lounge is very dear to my heart, and I teach it with the real stuff of your organization and or your team. The third value of the Agile Lounge is invitation pull base over impose push. In our modern and new economy, and especially with the labor shortage and all of this VUCA that human resources or people care or talent acquisition face, that's probably the core thing. And this is really highly inspired by the open leadership network that I'm part of the invitation-based approach. I think that, and what I was mentioning at the beginning of that show, it's crucial that leadership of a large-scale organization or the business owner of smaller organization, if they want to embrace an agile way of not only delivering goods to their customer, but making sure that the people that work with them, again, more than for them, will be they will feel invited first to work within the organization, secondly to be part of any type of transformation, technically speaking, or the evolution of this enterprise. Because more you will sensibilize and educate the leadership to do this invitation at all level, then the pull system that SCRUM and other method of delivery propose you will unleash. And this third value, it's really important as a fundamental to make sure that you're going to have not only self-organized team that produce a specific thing within the department or your enterprise, but also a more self-management and autonomous people of serious professional, responsible adults deliver things. So this should help you treat the new generation that don't want to be treated like a kid, that they know better. And if they had spend and invest time and money and to skill themselves and you hire them for their skills, don't impose and push a method that is archaic, but invite them to build and co-create with you these new methods and make it happen. Okay, so that's very, very important. Invitation pull base over impulse push and static stuff that will make you anti-fragile, and you will be able to achieve a better and a wiser way of having your agile adoption and evolution. The fourth value of the Agile Lounge is substantion, circular base organization over a hierarchical top-down organization chart. So on that one, because I see it's almost 1 p.m. right now. So on that one, I might make in a pine comment some link for you to go further. For those who study in physics like me or astrophysics, you understand the concept of substantion. And I know some linguists also understand the concept of substantion because it's something embedded into the other and all the element of interaction between all of us within human and sociological organizations. So everything that we learn in physics about the atom or in linguistic with the different layer of a phrase or an expression could be applied to an organization design. And we praise this substantial circular base instead of pyramidal thing. That's a funny thing. The static agile movement, the agile industrial complex, those low potential firms like McKinsey, Accenture, and so on, and all of my colleagues, 95% of my colleagues in Montreal, just talking shit on LinkedIn, instead of proposing a real new organization design, what do? They just flip the pyramid over and they send out its power to the people. That's literally bullshit. What you need is something circular that you will make spiraling in a constant evolution. And substantion is exactly this model. Okay, because substantion, you could imagine like multiple circles that will knock to each other and will create distributed network, or even better, decentralized network. So substantion is that kind of interrelation of the interaction between different elements. And it's circular because it's not a top-down and it's not either a bottom-up. So it's not a pyramid and it's not an upside-down pyramid, which is old fart ideas. We are proposing innovative, exclusive ideas here at the Agile Lounge with a substantial circular base. So this is one of our value. We're going to teach you it. We're going to show you how it's working and how much benefit you will have with that. Okay, period. So this is the new economy. This is a new world, not only of war, but of everything. And finally, my there thing and all of this is part of my book that it's almost finished. Now I need your help. If any one of you watching this could have some tips about self-publishing, publishing. What do I do when I've got my manuscript? what's my next step? So I'm completely blind. There's too much information online. So I need interaction between you and I over any process and tool that I could find online. So please in the comment below or contact me directly to help me go to my next sprint of publishing my book. So the fifth and the last Agile Lounge values, it's my little baby that I just co-created. I co-created, like not yet because I would like to have like some challenge about it, but it's agreement-based change over directive and command and control change. So when we talk about like this funny Dowd method of the Fragile Manifesto of so you will do an agile transformation, but you won't change anything. So it's exactly this meaning. And my experience, especially on the Scrum side, on the Lean Kaizen side, I realized that if a team, organization, or even the individual was feeling ambiguous or not clear or lacking of a vision or direction for his or her work of doing things or making things happen or delivering this thing, it was because there were no agreement. There were no agreement between even each other. Everything was creating this bad VUCA once again. Ambiguity, complexity of things, non-communication, especially uncertainty, and a lot of frustration. So we're not in the happier number 4 value systems of the OKRs. So, and when you apply Great Scrum and you onboard team and you use the canvases that I often show from Scrum Inc., this is what you try to do. So you put in the canvases, and Enterprise Scrum, we are good with it. So you visualize everything that you need and what do we need to agree. So if the team, we talked about self-organization, this is a perfect example. If you apply this value into patterns of making sure that when you onboard the team, it's everyone who is part of the team and even the shyest one that might contribute some others way. So it's your role as a facilitator and Scrum Master or Agile coach to make sure that everyone will have a say about his temperament of whatever. And you will also make sure that you will predict the Tuckman model of adoption and building team. So agreement-based, I think it's the key to make things clear, to make alive the VUCA Pro, of having a clear vision, understand each other, communicate, create, and collaborate, and be real agile in that sense. Because if you have like the SAFE system, the Scale Agile framework, what do? They tell you, even as a consultant, you're going to create me 5 arts. So we need 5 arts by the end of your mandate, by the end of the years. And by the way, ART stands for Agile Release Team. So you're going to work closely with a release trained engineer, and you're going to build those teams. And now this is all directive, prescribe, command and control change. So this is why we say that's no way. And by the way, I lied to you because unlike the Agile Manifesto, at the Agile Lounge, that is, while there is little value in some of the items on the right, like this one of directive and command and control change, we highly value the item on the left more than anything else. And it's an open agile approach that we use with empathy because we try to understand every stakeholders of your organization and even yourself. We are agnostic, empirical, and we aim for collaboration. So I'm a bit over time today because maybe I'm talk active. I don't know. I see about 10 people watching across the board, but no interaction. I could make a pause right now to see and before. And the thing is, there's 13 principles of agnostic agile. I don't necessarily want to go the way I did explain the other aspect of being anti-fragile. So maybe I could make it short by listing it to you. And again, the Pine Common of Rumble and YouTube will have all the link for you to further your interest and your research. Because 13, we're going to be here till 2 p.m. and I can't because I've got some other stuff to do today. And so I could briefly name you the 13 principle of being an agnostic agile advisor and consultant that I signed. I was a early bird, an innovator, again, to sign it back in the day. But I won't do the comment that I wanted to do about each of them, maybe some of them that are more appealing to me. And it's going to be, again, for my video listener, something visual. So sorry again for the jogger of the Day Real Agile podcast. You won't necessarily see it, of course, but anytime, you have all the link on Spotify and Apple and Deezer and Amazon and everything. If you click the link in the description of the podcast, you could actually come and see my guest and myself when we have a guest. And by the way, next week we have a great guest talking about open space humanity. Oh, it's beyond agility. Yes, of course. So, and by the way, when I say that this movement of agnostic agile could be a very, very, very great antidote for the Fragile Manifesto, I truly mean it in the sense that if you adapt it, especially as a consultant or as a business advisor or someone who really work closely with the leadership on the first element of the antidote against the fragility of what makes all of your venture into being more agile and do more agile fragile, unfortunately, through the agile bullshit and whatever you have. So, but I think like when I discovered them back in 2015, I think this is great because on top of my value system, if I had those principles to uphold, that I could be a greater coach, I could be a greater consultant, I could be a greater facilitator as well. And this helped me shape, because that was funny because they went out around that. Now I see the English is Australian. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, because they are from Australia, I think, these guys. Really lovely. So probably it's going to be an Australian English. Anyways, but when you go to the link that I will provide you in the Pine Common, you could have it in Spanish, German, French, Portuguese, and again, they put the Brazilian flags, probably Brazilian, Portuguese, and Chinese. But Chinese, I don't know if it's Mandarin or Cantonese, but anyways. The flag doesn't represent exactly the language, as you may know. What I was saying is, I do believe that. Sorry about that. I'm receiving a message into another thing. So yeah, so I do believe that we should actually aim to adapt more than a mindset, because we are not selling mindset at the Agile Launch for Business Agility. What we do is, in the spirit of evolution, in the spirit of the spiraling movement of circular-based things, what is most important is what's at stake for you. What do you try to solve as a problem? But moreover, what type of solution could we work together for you and for your customer? So, and that was funny because back in the day when they launched it, I was in the process of I was creating my business plan for the Agile. So this is why I said, like, this episode today, it's with explaining my values, with explaining my basic offer that we could uncover together for better things. That it's really a good segue about what is Agile that I did last week with the Launch King. Again, Launch King, I thank you for coming by. That was the part of the visual inspiration with the Launch King, and also the way that we do some workshop with the music and the ambience and stuff, the lounge culture, and why is the lounge in my name. But the core thing of the way I'd like to bring Agile to the world, the way I'd like to show up in the world beyond Agile, because for me, I praise my own evolution of becoming a business advisor, an entrepreneur, mentor, and so on. So I'm at this age. I'm entering the last years of the summer of my life, entering then the autumn of my life. And I think it's time for me to give back also with mentoring over coaching. So that being said, that was just so funny that I signed it while creating this Agile Lounge for business agility professional services, innovative and exclusive way of providing training, coaching, and consulting in Agile and Scrum, and especially business agility. And that helped me evolve because I'm still learning stuff, and it's not static either, like the manifesto. So let's go. Let's go quick. As I said, I won't comment on every of those 13 because we're going to be here for the 5 cassette. But at least I will give you a glimpse of those 13 principles that, as a consultant yourself, maybe, or anybody that want to really embrace the agile mindset and the lean thinking, that you should seek, and I seek to uphold the following principles to be, because this is a oath, Agile Agnostic, it's an oath that I sign. To uphold the following principles to the best of my ability and judgment. So the number one is to put my customer first, making them independent. Yes, and I was doing it before learning it from them, but for sure, I will uphold to that forever and ever. The number two principle of being an agnostic consultant is to do my best, complementing theory with practical experience. Yes, I think for those who follow me for a while, you understand that, especially this Agile Wars series, it's all about, when I talked about the Real McCoy, the Their Real Agile, in our context here, it's practical experience. Okay? I will do my best to complement any knowledge or theory with practical experience. This is very important. The third principle that I uphold is to tailor agility to context. Yes, Agile Lounge was based on that idea. Everything I did in the last 20 years of my 23 years of practicing lean thinking and everything in Scrum, that was based on that. What is the context of that team? So what should I suggest? What should I unleash them, help them, facilitate them to understand the customer context, the market context, and everything? This is very, 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 this is awesome. It's people first. Number four, to understand hindering constraints and work to remove them. As a Scrum Master for 20-some years, do you think this is appealing to me? Of course I will upload it. Of course, it's a unique context of my customer. And it's part of my job to help them remove these constraints, this impediment. Number five, to share, learn, and improve. Yes, let's together uncovering new ways and teach them, not certify them. And if I got information, I have to share it transparently. And I need to learn myself and improve myself to come back to my client and serve them better. I love it. Number six, to respect frameworks and their practitioners. Okay, that one was like, because for me, I'm over the board framework and their practitioners. But yes, being agnostic in a sense, but I do take position. So maybe this one I less uphold it, especially with my safe is not agile, it's not even Scrum, and but how could I say? If I did been an enterprise agile coach or a business agility coach or a business advisor in a safe environment, and I did well, I did implement art, I did implement and coach RTE and everything. I'm able to do this. I didn't just follow the path of this education or certification. And but I was able to do it. I was even able to work for a PMO that want to build PMO Agile. I could also still act as a project manager because anyone could be a project manager. So of course, I kind of implicitly uphold the respect of any frameworks or methodology and their practitioner. This is what I try to do. But the real core, the real McCoy of who I am. I'm an innovator and an early bird adopter of anything. So at some point, I just know for a fact and by experience, because of the fact that I was also in the field of a safe environment, to tell you that on a long shot, it won't work. It won't bring you where you want to go. But I respect it. That's you see the difference, anyways. And I speak like it's like the year that I spent when I came back in Canada after 2 years living in San Francisco. I was living in a suburb. For the first time, I was not in a downtown, walkable, urban environment. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something that now I could speak freely with experience about living in a suburb and needing a car instead of taking the subway. Let me just. All right. So that's number 6. Si pero no, comme we say in Espanol. Number 7, to acknowledge unknowns and seek help. Of course. That's the basic one. I won't go too far about this. Number 8, to never mislead and to never misrepresent. Of course. And that's the problem. And you see how much this is an antidote to the fragile movement, of the 95% Conartist of Agile coach out there. Because that's what they do within their organization of CGI, McKinsey, Accenture. They misleading the leadership and executive. And they often misrepresent what is maybe the framework that they just read or watch a couple of videos instead of practicing it. So anyways, number 8 is very important warning alert that I also use for my talent Agile to catch the fake coach. Number 9, to remember that agility is not the end goal. Yes, and yes. I keep saying it for 10 years. Agile transformation, it's a fragile, stupid idea because this is not the end goal, and more than 97% of the time it's going to be treated by organization change management, by the PMO, by the IT field as a fucking project with phases. And they will think that being agile, it's a goal, and when it's done, it's done. It's not. The agility is not the end goal. You're walking together in a better environment, in a wiser way, is the goal. And that has to be continuously evolving. That's why we say evolution over transformation. Number 10, to acknowledge that dogmatics is not agile. Safe people or left brain engineer out there that want to impose framework, that want to impose a static method, that take the Scrum guide as a prescription instead of a description. You have to acknowledge that you are dogmatic and you are then, therefore, fragile or non-agile. Thank you very much. 11, to recognize that there is more to agile than agile. Thus, next level agility. Thus, beyond agile. Thus. There's no agile journey. Again, it's evolution and the circular spiraling substantion that will bring you a better experience for your customer and a satisfaction from them if you pay attention to their feedback and the feedback of your employee, and especially making sure that with the guiding principle of Agile, you make the proper invitation to give clarity of authorization and decision rights to your employees that will elevate them and make them more engaged. So thank you, number 11 of the agnostic Agile. This is exactly the meaning. Number 12, and almost the end of that, Friday Live Agile 112, to give the community as it has given to me. Exactly. And on that, this is why I did create the SCRUM Beer Montreal. And we are going to have the Scrum Beer 22, probably the most biggest open public space retrospective ever in Scrum. A Fuck It Up Scrum evening on Thursday, May the 25th at the Crew Collective and Cafe. It's free if you bring your own wine and beer or non-alcoholic beverage, and it's from $10 to $50 depending on how much beer you want to pick from others. Okay, so all the links are in the description of this YouTube and Rumble channel, and on LinkedIn you could go to my main page and find the link. So welcome. It's in person in Montreal, Thursday, May 25th, and this is, I think, and with the Real Agile podcast, I think that that's the way that I uphold this principle 12 of the agnostic agile, by to give to the community as it has given to me. And also all the mentoring and coaching I'll do mostly for free to all the newbies and the new adopter of this. So this one I really present. And back in the day when I signed, I was ending there. And of course, as it's not static, somewhere in 2018-19, they send us an email and they say, will you agree with the number 13? Probably inspired by a bit the woke culture of DEI. Again, diversity. Make a mistake. DIE. Diversity, inclusion, and equity. So to embrace diversity without compromise. So this one, yes and no again, because there needs some context. They need some, for me, this is more ideological than agnostic again. But the way they define it, let's see it. I will promote diversity and inclusion in my workplace and when engaging with clients and their assignments. I will endeavor to educate leaders and hiring manager, celebrate employee difference, and constantly seek to challenge my conscious and unconscious bias. So on that part, psychologically speaking and sociologically speaking, I could say yes to that. But for me, again, if I say evolution over transformation and a lot of things over whatever, here I will say cosmopolitanism or being cosmopolite over multicultural, for instance. If we take the part of inclusion based on, for me, race doesn't exist. I embrace the teaching of Dr. Martin Luther King and also, most recently, Edward James Olmos. So say we all. So say we all. Repeat after me and tell me in the comment what you think about it. I'm colorblind, and so say we all. Grieving, it's one thing. History, it's important. But at the end of the day, if you'd like to include everyone, you have to be in a mindset of cosmopolitanism. And cosmos, I like it because it's, again, the substantion. It's a circular type of organization design where everybody could reach everybody. And Edward James Olmos, with the So Say We All, remind us that there is only one human race. One human race. So when people say you're racist, no, you're culturally deviant. You're culturally stupid. You're fear of someone with a different pigmentation of its skin, a different body shape, a different eye setting. So give me a break. Inclusion, the real inclusion is not excluding another group either by bashing them. So that's my problem with the DIE. But I don't have any problem with constantly seek to challenge my conscious and unconscious bias. Do I have some? And what is the influence that make me have a bias about the different of other? But in my case, as an HP person, I don't have it. The way my mother raised me with cosmopolitanism, and this great city of Montreal, probably the most multicultural city of the world, I bet you not. I think I've always been into this. So yes, I embrace the real diversity to include everyone, and I'm not judging you about the way you look, the way you make love, the way you love. Love is love. Now, in the workplace, could you do what we hire you to do? Could you contribute and collaborate within a team about your skills, your expertise? That's probably the only thing I will consult on the assignment. So, on that, my beautiful and amazing people, on this Friday, April the 21st, 2024, that's made the end of this Fragile Manifesto. Surprise, there's no Fragile Manifesto. There's only proposed solution to be anti-fragile. So I was your host, Alexandre Frédéric Joly, known as Coach AF, here on this Their Real Agile audio podcast and the Friday Live Agile number 112 with a special episode of Agile Wars. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, please support the channel and do it right now. Smash the like button. And of course, once again, I welcome 12 to 16 new subscribers on YouTube and Rumble. And do like them, subscribe, and hit the notification. We are mostly every week live streaming like today, Friday, 12 noon Eastern, 11 Central, about 6 p.m. in Europe and Maghreb. And next week, we're going to have a great guest. I'm going to welcome a squirrel. So I'm going to be the orange tiger welcoming the purple squirrel to talk about open space humanity. This is great. And again, remember who you really are, friends. You are wonderful. You are powerful. And you are free to be whoever you wanted to be and to do whatever you wanted to do in respect of one another. Happy weekend, folks.